Hey there, YouTube coders. Jordan here again. Today I'm going to be testing out the Windows Ubuntu platform and kind of just setting up a basic development environment with Node and VS Code and NVM to manage Node versions. So if that interests you, stick with me. We're going to figure this out together. All right, let's get started. First thing we got to do is enable enable the Windows subsystem for Linux. And let's just go to turn features on or off in the control panel. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's Windows subsystem for Linux. All right, perfect. Go ahead and check that. It will do some magic, some razzle-dazzle, and it'll talk about restarting the computer. Go ahead and do that now. All right, once your computer is rebooted, we're probably installed a million updates or whatever it does, whatever these Windows machines do. Go ahead and open the Windows Store. And we're going to look for the Linux distributions. And I actually don't know how to find these. Let's just try Linux. I don't know which distributions are available, but I'm looking for Kali Linux, Debian, SUSE. I actually want Ubuntu. I heard there was Ubuntu. I'm familiar with Ubuntu, so I'm going to search for Ubuntu. However, I think you can go for whatever one you want. Oh, we've got a couple of different versions. 18.04 is actually what my is what I have installed. And let's try it. Allows one to use the Ubuntu terminal and run Ubuntu, bash, SSH, git, apt, and more. Okay. All right, that finished up. We can go ahead. I'm going to click on pin to start, and then we're going to go ahead and launch this. Perfect. Installing. This may take a few minutes. Who knows? They'll probably ask me to restart a couple more times. It's a favorite of the Windows installation. Okay, that really did take a few minutes, but eventually it kicked me out into the screen. Immediately, I am going to make some changes here. I know we can go into properties. I think we can make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to play around with the font here for a second. Let's go with source code. No, source code. That one looks okay. And can we change? Okay, so I'm going to give myself a username and give myself a password. Updated successfully. Installation successful. It wants okay. Gives me some basic information there for Linux. All right, the very first thing I want to do, install Visual Studio Code. I'm going to install the download for Windows. Even though we're going to be working with Linux, I think it should work. We're going to test it, and I'm going to use the Insider's build. I suggest going with the stable, but I've never installed the Insider's build before, and I would like to try it. I want to see exactly what all comes with that, the bleeding edge features that go along with it. So about 40 megabytes. All right, perfect. And let's go ahead and open it up. Go ahead and click on next through all of the fun little Windows installation stuff. It's going into app data. Add to path, I definitely want that. Open with code to Windows Explorer. Yes, I do want to do these things. It makes it a little bit easier to work with directories when you're opening folders, and you can just open Visual Studio Code right there. And let's set it as the editor for supported file types, which will be like HTML, JavaScript files. It'll recognize that I most likely want to open those with VS Code. All right, so it's finished. I'm gonna go ahead and launch VS Code for the very first time here. And let's go ahead and take a look. So the first thing I'm noticing is usually the Visual Studio Code icon is blue, but I guess it's Insider's build is green. New, what I was looking for, so this is, I want actually WSL bash. Perfect. And there we go. So Windows, Visual Studio Code realized that I was trying to change the terminal and kind of gave me the option to do that. I don't know why it didn't do it originally, but play around with that and you should get there. All right, and finally, we need to install Node. For a powerful front-end development environment, we need Node running. And my favorite tool for doing that is NVM, which is a Node version management tool, and it allows us to shift from version 6 if we need it, or to version 10, which is the current version. And so I'm just right at the repository for NVM, and I'm going to just follow their installation instructions. Use curl the installation, and we are going to paste that in here and kick that off. Okay, that is done installing, and let's just go ahead and run the next command. This makes it so that we can load NVM right now. And paste that in there. And let's see if we can use NVM. All right, perfect. We need to actually install, and let's see what version we have. NVM list, node stable, and then IOJS. We want to install the latest version. Let's NVM install the suggested command, NVM ls remote. List just shows us what we have installed. Ls remote will show us what all is available. Ooh, all the way back to version 0. So let's do NVM install v10.9.0. And once that finishes, you have access to Node. So that's going to do it for this video. If you have extra questions or comments about ways to take this kind of development starter kit, please let me know. The first thing I'm going to do actually is install Yarn. And just like all the other things that I've done in this video, you can very simply follow the Linux instructions. So just look for Debian Ubuntu, and those will pretty much work. If they don't, let me know in comments, because I'm still just getting used to this, bash on Ubuntu on Windows, collaboration that they're doing, this big mixture of trying to tie them all together. So have fun with it. I'm going to be playing around with this to try to get my settings just the way that I like them. And who knows, I might just go back to using my Linux computer for most of my development work anyways, because it is what I'm familiar with. But cheers.